Well, I'm going to start the assembly. I'm going to do it in parts, pieces, one assembly at a time. Okay. I'm using a Tight Bond 3. It's a waterproof wood glue. Don't really need it, but it's also not bright white. It cures out just a little darker than the regular. These dowels are just a little bit loose in the hole. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and get them start soaking. See if they can soak up some moisture. See if they'll swell up just a little bit. That works a little. Sometimes it works great. We don't know. May work, may not. Get that part away from there so I don't get that glue on it. Better get me a rag. Probably gonna need a rag. I can wet it in a minute. In the meantime, I need to get it off my fingers. All right. So, let me go ahead and get this covered here. Make sure I get a copious amount in the holes. I'll deal with the squeeze out. I really am going to need to have that moisture in there though, so that the wood can swell. All right, and lay that down right here. Got a little wax paper down so that it doesn't stick to the tabletop. Whoa, went all the way through. That's a mistake. Yeah, let me go ahead and coat that surface. Although this is attaching to end grain, it will get a little bit of strength from bonding there. So, see, these have to go in here first. It swelled up a little. Yeah, it swelled up more. Okay, let me see if I can get the excess off of there. Okay, and then we'll just stick them together. There. That had a little bite to it. Now, let me clamp that down. ought to do there. And yeah, I think that'll hold it right there. Decent anyway. Okay. And this little clamp over here should put pressure on it. Yeah, it needs tightened up a little. Probably about right there. That's pretty good. And then squeeze it over. And I got glue squeezed out pretty good. Okay. Wet that rag and get that off of that surface. Alright. Using water on there helps a couple things. First of all, if you've got glue on there, it'll show up through the finish. And it's awful hard to sand it, especially like inside there. Get it out of the way so it doesn't show up. But the second thing it does is it adds some moisture to those wood fibers there on the outside, and they kind of swell up, and the glue soaks in them pretty good. So you get a little bit deeper penetration. But anyway, got that glued. Next thing we're going to do is put this cap on right here. But I'm going to let this set for just a little while because I don't want to jerk it loose. And we'll just let that set, and then I'll come back and we'll glue that on. Gonna glue up the other side of the anchor. A little harder to hold this. The shape is kind of, well, it's all curves, you know. No straight line push into the dowels here. So I'll start the same way. I'll get them soaking in some glue. See if I can pick up a little bit of moisture there. Like I said, the dowels are undersized, which for me is kind of unusual, because about most of the time when I buy dowels, I find that they're tight. These measure about 495 to go in a 500 hole. Let me get a rag here. So take a look at that, and so that should hold. It's pretty good. There's just a little bit of a lip on here, and you see some more glue squeezing out. I'll wait just a few seconds and then I'll wipe that again, because whenever you get that wood wet, it mixes with that glue and some of it comes out. So anyway, that does all of the gluing that I'm going to do on this part for right now, because I got another operation that I got to do before I put the cross arm on it up above. They're right there, and we'll come back to those. Okay, so I've routed that chamfered profile on the edge. Now, one of the things I've learned about it is that when you go across the grain, you'll pull out the grain. Okay? Same thing will happen if you have curly grain. But there's a way to fix that, and I'll show you what that is. Let me unplug this. If you'll set the router so that it will take, let's see if I can get this out here. Oops, let me get a screwdriver. There you go. If you'll set that router for a second pass, that only takes a few thousandths more off of it, it'll clean it up. So I'm going to lower the platen here. See if you can see it here. I'm going to lower this platen about, each turn on this is 30 thousandths of an inch, which is roughly a 32nd of an inch. So I'm just going to turn it about a quarter turn and make another pass. That should clean it up. and give me a really, really smooth chamfer. Let's do that and see how she looks. Oh yeah, it's a beauty. Okay, so I'm going to raise it up just a little bit, make another cut. I want to do it in progressive passes. It'll clean up a lot better that way. Don't have much grain pull out. I've got a little bit, but it's not bad. So I'll reset that and make another pass. It's a little hard to tell, but this chamfer is a bit deeper than what I put on those cross arm knobs. You'll notice that there in the corners of the arrow part didn't really get all the way to the bottom, but we'll deal with that in just a minute. The pilot on that chamfering bit is about a 1/2 inch in diameter. It doesn't get all the way down into those corners, and even if it could, it's a round bit, so there's no way it would make a sharp corner. So I had to get out some files, some rasps, and some sandpaper here, and go ahead and match that profile to the outside shape. I think it came out pretty good. It's not uncommon to have to do this if you're if you're doing an inside corner with a pilot bit. All right, that should hold it. And now we'll just put the spindles in it. Getting close.
These coat pegs are the handles from the ship's wheel. Use the dowels that I made to go in these because I wanted them to be really strong, and because the holes ended up being wallowed out just a little more than I wanted them to be. So I used those oak dowels to attach these. Now I want you to notice that as I position them, that the hole is actually drilled off center, which, like a cam, allows me to turn it and get it so it looks the best inside that arrow.
Okay, I'm going to tack this part off, get ready to put some finish on it. So get all the dust off of it first. The finish I'm going to use is going to be very similar to what I put on the wheel. I'm going to take and put 2 or 3 coats of tung oil on it, and that'll bring out the grain and give it that nice dark walnut natural wood looking finish. And after those dry, it'll take I can put 3 coats on in about a week. Take about a week to get all 3 of those on, but they'll still need a good week after that for it to be totally dry, because you see I'm going to put a hard coat on it, which will be a lacquer, and I'll put I don't know, 3, 4, 5 coats, whatever it takes to get it to be nice and even and come out with the finish I want. But anyway, so I'll start with this. By tacking it off, getting all the dust off of it. These parts here were finished when they were on the wheel. These were the ones that were broken off of it. So they won't get tung oil, but they will get additional coats of lacquer on them. I have to figure out how to blend it so that they don't really look distinctly different from the parts that are getting their first coats. But at any rate, and they've got a couple of dings on them, not bad. More scuffs than anything else. And what I'll do is I'll mix the tung oil, because it's pure tung oil. It's 100% pure tung oil, see? And I'll mix it with some mineral spirits to cut it, make it thinner, make it penetrate deeper into the wood. But I'll just set that up on time lapse, because you know, you've all seen oil go on wood before, so I'll just spin you right through it with a time lapse. Okay? Like I said, this is the first of about 3, maybe 2 or 3 coats of tongue oil. You'll notice that there's some places on there that are still have oil that haven't soaked in. So there's some around that handle there. And some places look a little dry. You can see perhaps in there that it's, it kind of looks puddled. So what you do is you give it a good 10 or 20 minutes to soak in, and then you come back with a dry cloth and you just wipe those out. So I guess I'll catch up to you whenever we get ready to put the finish on it. It's time to do final assembly on the coat rack here. Need to put the insignia, the lettering on. It's got a self-adhesive backing on it. And this right here, I want it to look like a porthole. So this is the backing. And what I have here is I have a series of logos of different sizes. And in order for it to look like a logo, I have, I believe it's called a cabochon, which is like a magnifying lens that I can put over these, and they will appear, I don't know if you can see it or not, but they will appear magnified. Okay? And so I have several different sizes here. For instance, that one would be too big. A lot of the logo wouldn't show. That one is a little smaller, but still there's bits of it that would be obscured by the rim on the inside here. That one's about right, but I think it might be just a little smaller than I want. Way too small. Pretty close, but the next size appears to me to be just about perfect. As you can see, fitting it right there gets the logo just about full screen with enough room around the outside edge that you can see all of the logo. So I've traced around it and I'm going to cut it out. Then I'll put adhesive on the backing here, and I'll stick the logo to this because I don't want it turning or coming loose. Should the lens happen to turn over the top, or the cabochon, should it happen to turn, it might turn the picture. So I'm going to hot melt glue the backing in place once I get it in there so it doesn't rattle. The logo will be sandwiched between the cabochon and the backing. So the hot melt glue isn't warmed up. So what I'll do is I'll cut out this logo, and then I'll plug in the glue gun, spray this, and this will have to set up for just a little bit, and then I'll be able to put the logo on it. And if the glue still isn't warm enough at that point, I'll go ahead and work on the lettering in the meantime. Anyway, I've got to get all that done, so I'm going to go ahead and just let this run. And I don't know if I'll make any remarks about it or not, but I'll go ahead and let it run while I do this. Okay? Okay, so I might have got a fingerprint on that. Let me go ahead and spray this and get this started. I'll do that somewhere else. I really don't want it on here. Let's see. That should be enough. Take a minute or two for that to tack up. So I'm going to plug in the hot glue gun and there we go. And let's see. While that's working, I think I can go ahead and start picking the self-adhesive off of this. Double-sided tape. Let's see, tweezers. There we go. Okay. It's a one-shot deal. There. Okay. Check my glue. It's getting warm. Check my adhesive. Oh yeah, it's ready. So, I have more room at the top than I do the bottom of the logo because the anchor sticks over here. So I definitely want to start this up here at the top edge. There we go. Okay. So let's see how that looks in the hole. Oh yeah, it'll all show. So now I've got to mark the center of this on the back. So the top is right here, top of the logo, and that is going to be right here. It's going to be top dead center when I put it in. Okay. So let's see how we're doing on glue. Well, we're just about ready. Let me get this out of the way. We can put that on later. These are done. According to my precise calculations, which may or may not be precise. Want that in there like that. And this in here like this. Okay. Should be able to put about 3 spots of glue in there and hold it. All right. Okay, let's see how she looks. Okay, now for the last logo. Plug that glue gun. Oh. Okay. There. Okay. Let's put the last one on. There. Okay. So that pretty much completes it. Do a little cleaning up on it, but there you have it. Let's take a flyby. So that concludes the build on this coat rack. But because of the damage that we had when we shipped the wheel, I decided this time I was going to make a custom carton for it. So I'd received a tool
that was in a bit oversized box. So I cut it down, turned it wrong side out, made custom inserts out of cardboard, glued them in with hot melt glue to hold it in place, packed a little extra padding around it wherever I could, and shipped it off. Captain said that he got it all in one piece, and I hope he's happy with it. So, appreciate you sticking with me, and I hope that you have nothing less than a wonderful day.